in the quiet town of Aiken, South Carolina, a place known for its equestrian charm and southern hospitality. Something deeply unsettling happened. A 84-year-old woman, Nancy Guthrie, a beloved member of the community, vanished without a trace. This wasn't just a case of an elderly person wandering away. This was the beginning of a twisted mystery that would involve burner phones, cryptic messages, and a demand for a ransom in cryptocurrency. Let's rewind to February 21st, 2023. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home. Friends and family describe her as vibrant and active, deeply involved in her church and local activities. So when she suddenly became unreachable, alarm bells started ringing. Her car was still in the driveway. Her purse and keys were inside, but Nancy was gone. The initial search by concerned neighbors and family quickly escalated into a full-blown police investigation. There were no signs of forced entry, no struggle, nothing to suggest what had happened. It was as if she had simply evaporated. The community rallied together, plastering missing posters across town and organizing search parties that combed through local parks and wooded areas. Local news was filled with pleas from her family, their faces etched with worry, begging for any information, any clue that could lead them to Nancy. Days turned into a week, and the hope of finding her safe began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of dread. What could have possibly happened to this kind, elderly woman in her own home? Then, the case took a bizarre and sinister turn. The family received a message. It wasn't a handwritten note or a phone call from a kidnapper with a disguised voice. It was a digital message demanding a ransom. But this was no ordinary ransom demand. The perpetrators wanted a significant sum of money, not in cash, but in cryptocurrency. Specifically, they demanded a payment in Bitcoin, a decentralized digital currency known for its anonymity. This crypto element threw a major curveball into the investigation. Law enforcement now had to navigate the complex and often murky world of blockchain technology. Tracking cryptocurrency transactions is notoriously difficult, designed to protect user privacy, which, in this case, shielded the criminals. The demand was clear: pay the ransom, or they would never see Nancy again. The family was faced with an impossible choice, caught between the police's advice and the desperate hope of bringing their loved one home. Investigators, including local police and the FBI, began to dig deeper. Who would target an 84-year-old woman and demand a crypto ransom? This wasn't the typical profile of a local crime. It suggested a level of sophistication and technical knowledge that was deeply troubling. The use of a burner phone for the ransom message added another layer of complexity. These disposable phones are nearly impossible to trace back to an individual, making it clear the perpetrators were taking careful steps to cover their tracks. The investigation led them to explore every aspect of Nancy's life. Did she have any hidden connections? Any secret wealth that might have made her a target? But everything pointed to a quiet, normal life. She was a retiree, living on a modest income. The motive seemed to be purely financial, yet the choice of victim was perplexing. Why Nancy? Was it a random act of cruelty, or was there a connection no one could see? As the digital forensics team worked to trace the origins of the crypto wallet and the burner phone, a major breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A local business owner came forward with a crucial piece of information. They reported a suspicious transaction. A person had used Nancy Guthrie's credit card. This was the first concrete lead in weeks. The police obtained surveillance footage from the store, and for the first time, they had a face. The person in the video was identified as Andrea Juvinia Aiken. But who was she? A quick background check revealed a troubled history, but no obvious connection to Nancy Guthrie. How did she get Nancy's credit card? Was she involved in the kidnapping? Or was she just an opportunist who had found a lost or a stolen card? The police tracked her down, and upon questioning, her story began to unravel. It turned out Andrea wasn't working alone. She implicated her boyfriend, Arthur Membry, as the mastermind. As the police dug into Membry's background, a chilling picture emerged. He was a handyman who had previously done some work at Nancy Guthrie's home. He knew she lived alone. He knew the layout of her house. Suddenly, the random nature of the crime didn't seem so random anymore. He had insider knowledge. According to Aiken's confession, the plan was devised by me. They went to Nancy's home with the intention of robbing her. What exactly happened inside that house is still a subject of horrific speculation, but the outcome was tragic. They allegedly took Nancy from her home, and the details that followed are heartbreaking. The story they told police led investigators to a remote, wooded area. There, buried in a shallow grave, they found human remains. Forensic analysis later confirmed the worst fears of everyone involved. It was Nancy Guthrie. The beloved great-grandmother had not been kidnapped for a sophisticated crypto ransom by a shadowy organization. She had been the victim of a brutal crime allegedly committed by two individuals she had trusted enough to let into her home. The crypto ransom demand, the banner phone it, was all a smokescreen. It was a calculated and cruel attempt to misdirect the investigation, to make it seem like a high-tech, professional operation. While the grim reality was far more mundane and far more personal. Arthur Membrev and Andrea Juvinia Aiken were arrested and charged with kidnapping and murder. The community of Aiken was left in shock and mourning. The why remains a haunting question. The crime seemed to be driven by a cold-hearted desire for money. A small amount of money compared to the immeasurable value of a human life. They stole Nancy's credit cards in her car, and then concocted the elaborate crypto ransom plot to buy themselves time and throw the police off their scent. This case serves as a chilling reminder of the dark side of human nature, but also of the power of community and diligent police work. From the initial search parties to the business owner who reported the suspicious transaction, it was a collective effort that brought the truth to light. The digital breadcrumbs, though intended to mislead, ultimately became part of the evidence that unraveled their web of lies. The story of Nancy Guthrie is a tragedy that highlights the vulnerability of our elderly population and the lengths to which criminals will go to conceal their crimes. The use of cryptocurrency in a ransom plot is a modern twist on an old crime, showing how technology can be exploited for malicious purposes. But in the end, it wasn't the complex technology that solved the case. It was old-fashioned detective work, a crucial tip from an alert citizen, and the confession of one of the perpetrators that finally delivered justice for Nancy. As the legal proceedings against Membrev and Aiken continue, the town of Aiken is left to heal. They remember Nancy not for the horrific way her life ended, but for the vibrant, kind, and loving person she was. Her story is a heartbreaking, cautionary tale, a mystery that began with a digital puzzle but was solved by uncovering a very human betrayal. It's a stark reminder to be vigilant, to look out for our neighbors, and to never underestimate the importance of a single piece of information in the quest for justice. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into fascinating and important cases. Stay safe out there.